It's almost like drafting well is important, and having a general manager with a clue who can actually judge talent matters. All right, friends, it's time to address kind of the elephant in the room, and that is Kwesi, or Kwesi, or when I heard the name Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, I just assumed it was a new name for one of the lakes in Minneapolis. Kwesi is the Vikings general manager, and he's been that way for like 4 years now. Let's look into who is Kwesi. Is he qualified to be a football general manager? And are the poor results of the Vikings recently at all on him? So let's Google Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. He started with the San Francisco 49ers in 2013, manager of football research and development. So manager, you got manager in your title. You know right there he's useless. Then he gets promoted to director of football research and development, which means he gets paid more and is even more useless. Then he goes to the Cleveland Browns in 2020 as the vice president of football operations. You have some decision-making power. So okay, that's impressive. He kind of worked his way up, or worked the political game to get to that point, and then now he's the general manager of the Vikings. There's too many layers. Okay, there's just too many layers, obviously. That's the first takeaway. You got your manager of football research and development. You got your director of football research and development. You got your vice president of football operations. You got your general manager. This is very corporate here. Okay, here we go. Before beginning with the NFL, Adofo-Mensah had several ventures as a portfolio manager and commodities trader on Wall Street. This is what I thought. I remember hearing this. He's a Wall Street guy. He's a quantitative analytics probably guy. The way Wall Street works is you don't produce anything. And I'm not doing a rant against Wall Street. This is just how it is. You don't produce anything. You just find ways to move money around and take a big chunk of that money for yourself somehow. That's all. You don't produce anything of value. You take money from people who produce things of value by just manipulating markets and stuff. And so, okay, that's where he comes from. So he's probably heavy into analytics. Then he gets into, how does he get into the NFL though? He began his NFL career with the 49ers under general manager Trent Baalke and head coach Jim Harbaugh following a chance meeting with the team's executive vice president of football operations. So is there there's a manager, director, vice president, executive vice president, general manager. Just think, when you buy a ticket to see your favorite team, how much overhead that is paying for, or when you buy a J.J. McCarthy jersey. Okay, here we go. He thinks he's made out to search for football talent because his background is an advantage. He has no preconceived notions or biases. Maybe because he doesn't know anything about competitive football, about being physical. So he's this Wall Street guy who grew up a football fan. No real background in football, but he got into it with the 49ers and then has somehow worked his way to be general manager of the Vikings. Okay, here we go. He doesn't have the traditional scouting background. This sounds like a Moneyball thing. Thing with Moneyball was, that was the book by Michael Lewis in, early 2000s about the Oakland A's and Billy Beane, the general manager. I read the book, never saw the movie, just read the book. One of the concepts is scouts are biased and generally not reliable. They just look at pure physical talent. They'll just watch a guy like Billy Beane when he was a baseball player, was like tall and fast and could hit. And they would just fall in love with how a guy looked, throwing a ball or swinging a bat. But they missed out on whether he was disciplined mentally, whether things like that. And that led to on-base percentage becoming much, much more valuable than batting average. It led to a lot fewer pitches being put in play. And yes, maybe it's better to not swing at pitches out of the strike zone. Make the pitcher throw a lot of pitches. It also makes the game suck. So Moneyball, it made sense as a winning strategy. It makes the game suck. Awful to watch. Another thing from Moneyball was that there's no such thing as clutch play. If you look at the numbers, there is no such thing as clutch play. If you think you see a guy who's a good clutch hitter, you're just imagining things. So when you're watching the New York Yankees 10, 15 years ago, and you would always see Derek Jeter making a great play on the news, it's simply because he had so many opportunities to make great plays, so he's bound to make a great play. Or you'd see David Ortiz hitting a home run all the time. Or you'd see Tom Brady leading a massive comeback. Or you see John Elway leading a 98-yard drive against Cleveland in the late 1980s, the drive in the AFC Championship game. There is no such thing as clutch play. That's the Moneyball way, which is garbage. And so we have Kwesi, this analytics guy, this number cruncher guy, and also it says he doesn't have the traditional scouting background like other guys who've interviewed for this Vikings GM opening. So he's best suited in a role where he delegates to evaluators to garner the intel needed to make personnel decisions. He doesn't make decisions. What do I deal with every day at work? People in leadership who don't make decisions. And what it leads to is just absolute chaos. Like, I was once interviewing for a job, and I was talking to the vice president of research and development. And I asked him, what makes the best worker you've ever worked with? What makes a great employee in your mind? And he said, the best employee is the one who makes the most good decisions. He didn't say the best employee is the one who is always right, whose decisions are always right. He said, the one who makes the most good decisions, enough knowledge to make good decisions, but also someone who is decisive, who makes a lot of decisions, who just picks a path and moves forward. And we have with Kwesi is an analytics guy without a real football background who can't make decisions for himself. But is that true? I mean, if we look at the Vikings drafts under Kwesi, it's got to be good. So let's start in 2022. 2022 Vikings draft. Let's see how they did. Lewis Seen, maybe the least talented first-round draft pick of all time. Not named Laquan Treadwell. Yes, he had the big injury early in his career, but he was not even getting on the field. That was on a special teams play. That was the only way he could get on the field. Horrible. Then Andrew Booth. Who does he play for? Is he even in the league? I don't even know. He didn't last with the Vikings. Ed Ingram in the third round. We all know about Ed Ingram. Where's he now? He's probably actually better in Houston. I'm not going to look at his PFF grade. Let me just check. How's Ed Ingram doing? Nasty block by Ed Ingram. Ed Ingram dominates up front, and Texans win over the Colts. That's 24 hours ago. So Ed Ingram seems like he's doing well. So that's an offensive line, though. So could have gotten that one right from a talent perspective, but Kevin O'Connell and his offensive coaching just piss poor with developing offensive linemen. Okay. Then Brian Asamoah. You got to change that last name. That is a horrible name. He didn't last with the Vikings. Okay. Caleb Evans, absolutely awful. absolutely awful. Esezi, never heard of him. Ty Chandler, no good. Vidarian Lowe, never heard of him. Jalen Naylor, okay, Jalen Naylor, pretty good guy. He's like the only guy we have with any speed, I think. But he's a 6th-round pick. He's playing a little better than a 6th-round pick, but he's not anything that great. And Nick Muse. So we have really Jalen Naylor, and that's it. That is it from this draft. And if we want to blame Kevin O'Connell for Ed Ingram, go ahead. But we kind of got a goose egg here with Kwesi's first draft. Then second draft, 2023. There's not many guys here. First round, Jordan Addison. He is not first round level. He's not that fast. He's small, not that quick. His hands are not that great. Just there's nothing great about him. And we blew a first rounder on him. Mekhi Blackman, I think we got rid of him. I don't even know how long he lasted. Jay Ward, I don't know what happened to him. Don't hear about him at all. Started 1 game. Okay, so he's not really playing much. Jacqueline Roy, had a girl. I don't hear about him. Does he play for the Vikings still? No, didn't last. Jaron Hall and Dwayne McBride. Know nothing about it either. Jaron Hall, quarterback. Huh, what happened to him? I think I remember seeing him. Yeah, he played. Oh, that's right. He played 2 games. Oh, that was scary. But yeah, that was it for him. So Jordan Addison is like an okay. I mean, he's a pretty good receiver. Pretty good. But first round, not really. So it's not an impressive draft there. 2024 draft. First round, J.J. McCarthy. That's a miss. There's just no question that's a miss. He can't stay healthy. Can't stay healthy. I don't care. Disregard the fact that he's got accuracy issues. He throws a lot of interceptions. Can't stay healthy. That's a miss. Dallas Turner, also in the first round. We picked Dallas Turner in the first round. I mean, he's had a couple of good games recently, but he is nothing special. And then we go all the way to the 4th round. Kyrie Jackson, Walter Rouse, Will Reichard in the 6th round. That is a good pick. Will Reichard, that guy's got a leg. 6th round. It's a good use of a 6th round pick. Then Michael Juergens and Levi Drake Rodriguez, future serial killer, I guess, with the 3 names. I don't know anything about either of them. But so this draft, kind of we got Will Reichard. And then, again, not much else that's helping us. Dallas Turner, he's okay, but he's not much better than okay. I don't know. There's you got Will Reichard, Jordan Addison's okay, and Jalen Naylor. No home runs. I'd call Jalen Naylor like a nice line drive single to center field, just right up the middle. That's Jalen Naylor in the 6th round. Jordan Addison in the 1st round. That's kind of a bunt single. And then who's the 3rd one that was pretty good? Will Reichard. Will Reichard's a bloop double. You bloop it just between the left fielder and the center fielder, and you get to second. You hustle it, and you get to second. That's Will Reichard. So we got a bunt single, a line drive single, and a bloop double. Just for poops and giggles. How have their drafts been? I don't actually know. See if I recognize any of these guys. Number 1, 2022, Quay Walker. Already better than any of Kwesi's picks. Would you want Quay Walker, that kind of nasty guy? Yeah. Christian Watson, he's good, right? But I don't know. He's pretty good. He's a lot of yards per catch. He's probably as good as Jordan Addison. Romeo Dobbs, doesn't he have concussion issues? Yeah. Well, they got 2 wide receivers who are still on the team. Sean Ryan. He's still on the team. Devontae Wyatt in the first round. He's still on the team. First 5 guys they drafted in 2022 are still on the team, and I think playing, still starting. Like, all 5. Okay, I think we're kind of done here. I don't need to look at anything else. 5-4-5. Not that they're Hall of Famers. Then 2023, Tucker Kraft in the 3rd round, tight end. Luke Musgrave. That sounds familiar. He's a tight end too. He's still on the team. I don't know how good he is. Lucas Van Ness. He's still on the team, but I don't know. He's not playing a lot. Well, let's try the Detroit Lions. Okay, Detroit Lions 2022 draft. Aiden Hutchinson. Kirby Joseph. He's dirty, but he can play. Like, if you're just talking about ability, that guy can play. Jamison Williams. 1,000-yard receiver. At least 3 really good players in the 2022 draft for the Lions. 2023 draft, first round, Jahmyr Gibbs. Second round, Sam Laporta. Okay, let's try the Bears. The Bears hired Ryan Poles, who took a lot of heat. Let's see who the Bears drafted in 2022. They didn't have any first rounder. See, I don't know the Bears well enough. Kyler Gordon, who the heck is that? Is he still playing? He got Caleb Williams in the first round. Again, I don't think he's anything great. But I don't know. Caleb Williams, his career? In his career, Caleb Williams, 37 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. J.J. McCarthy would give up the 9 persona for that. Kirk Cousins would give anything for that touchdown interception ratio. 37 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. I mean, what I see here, I look at this, I'm really trying to understand Kwesi and whether he's qualified. Well, based on my research, he's an analytics guy who doesn't really know how to judge talent, it seems, based on what I've read. He's a middle manager who rose up to the executive level and relies on his minions doing the number crunching to tell him what to do. And boy, have his drafts been terrible. You compare his drafts to the Packers and the Lions drafts, no comparison. And gee, what a shock. Which 2 teams are way better than the Vikings now in 2025? Packers and the Lions. It's almost like drafting well is important, and having a general manager with a clue who can actually judge talent matters. And what we have is a general manager who has no clue how to judge talent at all, probably doesn't even believe in talent. It's just about numbers. So, do we get rid of Kwesi? Well, I think you got to get rid of whoever hired him. Is that the owner? Can the Vikings ever win with their current ownership if they think Kwesi and Mr. Middle Management Mushmouth Kevin O'Connell should be running their operation? I don't know, but I think it's not working with Kwesi. It's never going to work with Kwesi. And I think we can see why when we look at his lack of qualifications. But maybe someday they'll name a lake in Minneapolis after him.